Okay, welcome back, everyone. I can see people filtering in. I hope you've had a wonderful morning thus far. It's always incredibly interesting, and quite humbling to hear of all of the wonderful work that people are doing. My name is Carolyn Davies. I'm a Senior Project Officer at the Centre for Excellence. You'll notice that my background looks a little bit different from other centre team members. I actually work in at the project area of young people using violence in the home. We refer to it as the AVITH Practice Leadership. And we organise a AVITH Knowledge Hub as well as other webinars and events around the place. So you might have seen my face before. I am your humble facilitator today. Before we begin, though, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of all the lands that we're each zooming in from today. I'm on the lands of the Wurundjeri people and would like to pay respect to elders, past and present, Aboriginal colleagues in the audience with us today, and all of the Aboriginal families and children that we all work and walk alongside. I believe we have a little housekeeping slide, which will probably be put on the screen any moment. If not, folks, it's usual housekeeping rules here apply. So you will notice that you are on mute, but we would love your participation via chat, comments, and of course, questions. Hopefully, we can get to questions at the end of the presentations today. Would love to thank our major sponsors today, VACA, Anglicare, and CSNet, as well as other sponsors, Berry Street, Impact Initiative, and WCIG. The session today, we have three compelling presentations lined up. First, we have Orygen, who will present trauma-informed individual placement and support for out-of-home care. Then MacKillop Family Services and CMY will share findings from their cultural mentoring program, developing a best practice model for embedding culturally responsive practice in out-of-home care. And finally, Monash University and Kids First will present meaningful conversation, co-creating care records for memory, identity, and accountability needs of care experienced people. So a wealth of information and some really interesting findings coming our way. I will begin with our first session, trauma-informed individual placement and support for out-of-home care. And our presenters are Dr. Wilma Peters and Katrina Casaclang from Orygen, and Bronte, Emanuel, and Haylee Lepaio, who are from Veritas House. I'll just do some brief introductions before we hand over to them. Dr. Wilma is a research fellow at Orygen and an experienced clinician, researcher, and organisational leader. Wilma conducts research on interventions and for interpersonal trauma in young people and the implementation and evaluation of trauma-informed models of care within youth mental health services. Katrina Casaclang is the National Manager of Orygen's IPS Centre of Excellence. Katrina has implemented and managed several youth education and employment programs and has extensive experience in stakeholder and community engagement, as well as facilitation and supervision experience. Bronte is the Operations Manager for the Supported Independent Living and Residential Services at Veritas House, with over 8 years' experience in the organisation. And Bronte has held various roles across multiple programs within out-of-home care and youth homelessness at different levels of the organisation. And finally, we have Haylee, who is a team leader of the youth initiative at Veritas House and has been in this role for about 4 years. She's played a pivotal role in supporting young people transitioning from out-of-home care who may be at risk of homelessness in central and western New South Wales. So thank you so much to our wonderful presenters, and I will now hand over to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Carolyn. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here and share a little bit about the trauma-informed IPS model that Orygen is supporting. So we are partnering with Veritas House to deliver this model in conjunction with our research team. I won't go through introductions because you've just had some great introductions of us all, but I just wanted to give a bit of an overview of the partnership. So Veritas House employ a team of trauma-informed IPS vocational specialists, and these specialists work closely with the clinical and consultation services, personal advisors, and caseworkers to provide individualised support to young people, helping them find and maintain work and study. And so Orygen's role in that partnership is to provide training, supervision, and professional support for the trauma-informed IPS vocational specialists, and then evaluate the effectiveness of the trauma-informed component of the program and identify potential improvements. So I'd like to acknowledge the Australian government because they've funded this initiative through the Local Jobs Program, which has been crucial in bringing this initiative to life. And Melbourne University and the Association of Social Work have provided support assistance to the evaluation. So what is, sorry, I think I've gone back one too many there. Oops. Okay, I've just jumped a little bit, but that's okay. What's individual placement support? So IPS was developed in the United States as a model of employment and vocational support over the past 2 decades. So there we go. Over the past 2 decades, it emerged as a prominent evidence-based approach to vocational rehabilitation and demonstrating significantly higher outcomes than mainstream approaches. So IPS has been part of 28 randomised control trials. And the core principles, they're up on the screen now. So the core principles of IPS are quite clear, but the 3 that are significantly different to mainstream employment services is that time unlimited supports, 0 exclusion, so there's no gatekeeping or decisions about job readiness or pre-employment programs, and the integration with the mental health clinical and support teams. So that's really important, and generally they're co-located. So trauma-informed IPS. So this approach focuses on young people who have been exposed to significant trauma throughout their lives. So it works closely with the case management teams and recognises that trauma experienced by young people and its impact on overcoming employment and education barriers. So the program adaptations that we've sort of made is we would consider the personal advisors and the caseworkers at Veritas to be equal to the clinical team, and not just the traditional clinical team as in normal IPS. And the program is focused on working with young people through a trauma-informed lens. So Orygen provides ongoing IPS training, trauma-informed training, and professional support. And Veritas also has been really active in engaging and offering more professional support to their team, to their employment team, and supporting young people and ensuring that they're looking at it through a trauma-informed lens. And you can see there some of the key principles of what we ensure happens. So I know that was a quick overview, so I'm going to hand over now to Bronte and Haylee to talk about what it looks like on the ground.
Thank you, Katrina. Hello, I'm Bronte, the Operations Manager at Veritas House. We are located in Bathurst and Orange regions of New South Wales. So prior to the implementation of the TIPS program at Veritas House, we outsourced our education and employment services to meet the requirements of our Youth Initiative program. In other programs at Veritas House, caseworkers were responsible for completing all employment-related goals and tasks for young people. And over the years, I have observed that many young people struggle to overcome challenges with their employees and in the workplace, which often was leading them to quit. Veritas House recognised that by internalising education and employment services within the Youth Initiative, we could better focus on and achieve the employment goals of young people through a trauma-informed lens. So regular fidelity reviews and professional supervision sessions for our mentors have continuously enhanced the program. This internalisation has significantly improved the quality and the effectiveness of the services provided to our young people. So our structure, as Katrina mentioned, we have partnered with Orygen to initially implement the IPS model within our youth initiative program. This collaboration has allowed us to expand and establish TIPS as a standalone program. And since the inception of the TIPS program, we have observed significant improvements in both satisfaction and outcomes. The biannual fidelity reviews conducted with Orygen have provided us with clear assessments of our alignment with the framework, along with actionable recommendations and support for further enhancement. We have diligently implemented these recommendations, establishing a robust framework at Veritas House that has been invaluable in addressing the complexities of attracting and retaining staff. Our partnership with Orygen has been instrumental in achieving these positive outcomes.
We support young people aged 16 to 24 from diverse backgrounds, including those leaving out of home care, experiencing homelessness, or being involved in early intervention services. Our focus is on individuals who have likely experienced trauma or come from trauma backgrounds. As Bronte mentioned, our referrals initially came from our youth initiative team, which supports care leavers at risk of homelessness. Recognising the benefits of trauma-informed IPS for this group, we secured additional funding to extend the referrals across other Veritas programs, including our specialist homelessness service, our supported independent living service, and our permanency support program.
The support provided by our EEMs, so our Education and Employment Mentors, is highly individualised. The EEMs work closely with our clinicians and caseworkers, regularly attending case collaboration meetings to ensure that all stakeholders are on the same page with what is going on for our young people. So these meetings remain professional and ensure that all aspects of a young person's life is considered when exploring employment.
A key aspect of TIPS is community involvement. We help young people explore employment opportunities with a strong focus on employer engagement. Our EEMs regularly attend community events, career expos, and business chamber meetings. They use cold calling, reverse marketing, and local media to engage employers and raise awareness of TIPS. EEMs stay involved throughout the employment process, providing unlimited post-placement support.
So what is important? Our EEMs at Veritas are committed to supporting young people in our program. They can travel up to 560 kilometres one way to provide assistance. We understand the importance of face-to-face visits with young people and connecting with employers across New South Wales. So we also conduct steering committee meetings that bring together our senior team from our TIPS program, our CEO, our business development manager, and our clinical manager. And these meetings ensure that we are addressing successes, learnings, and continuously improving to make sure we achieve the outcomes for young people.
By working closely with young people like Alex, we help them identify career interests and strengths. EEMs communicate their needs to potential employers, facilitating necessary workplace adjustments. In similar cases, young people disclose how trauma affects them at work. This information helps create adjustments that benefit both the employer and the young person. From the employer's perspective, EEMs encourage young people to be upfront about their trauma. This honest communication fosters a supportive relationship, allowing both parties to discuss and resolve difficult situations, ensuring continued employment. I'll now pass this on to Dr. Wilma Peters, who will discuss the research project.
Thank you, Haylee. We know that IPS works. We have seen the results of IPS in 20 randomized controlled trials. Some of those conducted here in Australia with young people in our Headspace centres. However, what we do not know or fully understand is how IPS needs to be adapted to meet the needs of our young people in a rural area of Australia where there's been severe trauma and the potential of ongoing homelessness and adversity when they leave their care. So in this project, we developed a research protocol with individuals that has previously been exposed to the IPS project. Those individuals came from our headspace centres across the country. We also worked with Veritas to understand the specific needs of their cohort, including their internal staff and the young people. Following this consultation process, we developed the aims of this project to be clearly focused on...
Donna, if you want to take off your sweater, you can.
Sorry?
Sorry, if we can just keep everybody on mute if you're not presenting. Thank you.
Oops.
Following this consultation, we agreed that this project will tune into the experiences and perspective, largely a qualitative study, to understand how our service users in Orange, Bathurst, up there in New South Wales, experience the implementation of trauma-informed care and what our young people are saying to us as a result of being part of this project. So part of the implementation process, no, still the previous slide. Part of the implementation process then involved the training of people in Veritas. That would be the IPS mentors, the career and vocational mentors, to develop a full understanding of what it takes to work in this role. Additionally, we ensured that these individuals were supported and are supported throughout this project with two goals. Firstly, to enhance their ability to deliver the program with fidelity. And secondly, to ensure that we address any secondary trauma that could come from working in this program. This means that we address potential for vicarious trauma. Therefore, our workers would be engaged and satisfied while working in these roles. At the end of this program, we hope to further interview 10 service providers and 16 young people to obtain their further impact of information of being involved in this program, and to generate a report that can further inform work within the from a trauma-informed perspective, not only for Veritas, but also for the country and the world at large. Now you can have the next slide, Katrina. Thank you. So initial feedback tell us so much. We know that firstly, our young people are saying, give us more. They are saying that we are feeling, we are hearing, and we are experiencing that we can get a job. We can be in employment, and therefore we can be successful. We have the support and the backing of our organizations, and people believe in us. We have voice, we have choice, and therefore, from a strength-based perspective, we can be successful. Our case workers are telling us that this is a good initiative. Our people are presenting with better clinical outcomes, but more importantly, if they've been exposed to IPS, we also are seeing enhanced functional outcomes, and we are seeing an improvement in quality of life. We also see that there's a different connection and engagement with our young people, and that they want to work with us on various aspects of care. And then our employers are saying, wow, it's great to have the support of these employee mentors to help us navigate some of the difficulties that's associated with working with young people, and specifically those that comes from disadvantaged backgrounds. So this is my part of the presentation. I'm happy to take any questions. And if you want any more information or want to contact us to get more information after today's presentation, here is more information about the Youth Centre of Excellence in Individual Placement and Support, as well as Veritas House. Our email addresses are here if you want to reach out to us individually. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, everyone. That was really inspiring to see this trauma-informed work actually in practice. And I'm particularly really interested to hear that, you had a real focus on capturing the young people's perspectives through that data collection. I think that's always so important when these are the service users that the program or service is being designed for. There was a couple of questions that have come through and been passed on. What are the next steps for this program, and how do you see it evolving and growing?
Do you want me to answer that,
Yeah,
Katrina?
go ahead, Wilma.
Well, I think this is a question that needs to be answered by Veritas House. They own the program, and that is their vision that needs to be understood here. But from a research perspective, we obviously want to collect this post-implementation feedback, feed that information back to Veritas, and support them in developing this program further, in order to translate it not only to the entire centre, but also potential other similar areas in Australia. But Bronte, I would like to hear your views.
Yeah, I think what we've seen at Veritas is we mentioned we spoke in our presentation that we started with a small target in terms of just one of our programs, and we saw the success and the great outcomes from that we wanted to really offer it to all service users at Veritas House. Everyone that we work with has a trauma background, and we have seen an increase in referrals. We're hitting our numbers. So part of our tips program at the moment is we want to hit 90 young people in the program within a financial year and have at least 45 young people into paid employment. We have met those numbers. We're above those numbers. And what we're really working at now is looking at external referrals to the community. So other services just like us, we're getting into schools, we're getting referrals that way that still capture that age group. We still capture the young people with a trauma background. I think for us, we cover a large portion of New South Wales. My team travel, and I think you get the different demographics, you get the different areas, and it's all individualized. It's all quite different. And I guess our vision at Veritas House as well is to secure further funding post the end of the financial year next year, to get further funding to actually make this program bigger. There's so many young people out there that this program really benefits, and we're seeing great outcomes. So I guess our vision, and we've teamed up with Orygen to do that research component, but our vision is to secure further funding, to have that data there to make it, I guess, available to other service users, as Wilma said, across the state, across Australia, because I honestly do believe in this program. We've seen some amazing outcomes, and we want to continue it.
Yeah,
If I
absolutely.
could just add one little bit, sorry to that, just really quickly, what we have seen as well is the implementation and the support of senior manager or the senior leadership team of really embedding this. As I said, the additional support and, bringing in psychologists and bringing in occupational therapists to add additional training to the employment and education mentors. It's just been amazing.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It sounds like, a program that has some really far-reaching benefits potentially. Someone has asked, how do you tailor your approach to meet the unique challenges and strengths of each young person, ensuring they not only gain employment, but also build long-term confidence and career resilience, which I haven't heard that term before, but sounds like a good one. Anyone got any thoughts?
Might jump in first, Bronte, because IPS as a model, that is the whole point of it. It's really specific around what does that person want, not putting them into what traditional employment services might be around just meeting a target or getting a Sorry, I'm going to hand over to you.
I think I can add on there that
You're on mute now. Okay.
Sorry, as Katrina said, we do focus on what the young person is interested in when we are exploring employment. So we will look for opportunities where they might get a trial before they actually apply for a position that interests them. And I think that's really where IPS differs from other employment services, because they might, blanket refer to other programs or positions that come up just because they need to be filled. But that's where we really focus on what the young person is interested in. And I think we've had better outcomes because they've been able to maintain that employment because they're interested in that. And also we can be alongside them to communicate any, I guess, trauma impacts that they might see in the workplace. So that's a huge part of what we do.
And in addition to that, this is a time unlimited intervention. Veritas is happy to work with young people for as long as it takes to help them transition into employment, to ensure successful in employment, to ensure it's meaningful jobs with career prospects. And furthermore, along that way, because it's integrated with case management, there's skill building, there is supportive counselling to ensure their long-term success, not only as individuals in this world, but also as working individuals with a future and with economic security.
Mm. Thank you. Another question. Do we have time? We've got a minute. I'm going to go for it. Would Orygen be open to providing IPS training or IPS training to case managers? This approach seems very effective and could act as an amazing framework for case managers working with young people engaging in the out-of-home care and homelessness service system. Do you do training?
We do training. IPS is a model, so it would mean a conversation as to what your service looks like, but we're very interested and keen to look at ways of expanding IPS into other services and what that looks like. And we do provide training, fidelity review support, and professional support, which is also key to supporting the workers. So similar to a clinical support, this is around the employment and education mentors. So definitely contact us and we'd be happy to have a conversation, including research.
Fantastic. Fantastic. There was a beautiful quick response for you. Yeah, and it sounds like, in terms of it being thought out, I think if you've got that attention to detail and the commitment to fidelity of the program, then that's obviously what you want when you're thinking about branching out and doing something like training. So thank you so much. It sounds like we've got some really lovely comments that have come through to us. So thank you for sharing. And I think we have popped your contact details in there. So if people are interested in hearing more about training or other, yes, I encourage people to reach out. I'm sure these lovely folks would love to hear from you. So thank you again.